I never get that right. Somebody's always got to tell me. And the other thing that I won't forget to do is remind us about our service projects later. But for now, see if you can't find a posture. I'm going to have to take off my shoes, for example. And I'm going to read just the first, there's 4 parts to this beautiful poem. I will send it to everyone by Khalil Gibran called The Beauty of Death. The Beauty of Death. There is a poet in all of us that understands this, right? And Gibran was someone who I think, whose words will strike you. And so finding your posture, establishing ourselves first, and then I want us to soften back. We could say settling in. You establish, but then you have to soften the edges. This is the practice that is ultimately sustainable. And then we spend our time a little bit just breathing and opening. And do so while I read this. Part 1 is called The Calling. Let me sleep, for my soul is intoxicated with love. And let me rest, for my spirit has had its bounty of days and nights. He's already calling us to soften, isn't he? Soften up. It's going to be okay. Light the candles and burn the incense around my bed, and scatter leaves of jasmine and roses over my body. Let's celebrate. Embalm my hair with frankincense and sprinkle my feet with perfume. And read what the hand of death has written on my forehead and my face. Let me rest in the arms of slumber, for my open eyes are tired. Let the silver-stringed lyre quiver and soothe my spirit. Weave from the harp and lute a veil around my withering heart. Sing of the past as you behold the dawn of hope in my eyes. For its magic meaning is a soft bed upon which my heart will rest. Dry your tears, my friends, and raise your heads as the flowers raise their crowns to greet the dawn. Look at the bride of death standing like a column of light between my bed and the infinite. Hold your breath and listen with me to the beckoning rustle of those angels' white wings. Come close and bid me farewell. Touch my eyes with smiling lips. Let the children grasp my hands with soft and rosy fingers. Let the ages place their veined hands upon my head and bless me. Let the virgins come and see the shadow of God in my eyes and hear the echo of his will racing with my breath. Let me soften into this blossom, this resting place, this seat I have taken. May I call to mind all those for whom I practice. Include the grasses and the morning bird and the breeze. soften into the beauty that is present, that can never, ever, ever be held but this moment. And may all the merits of this practice be sent immediately outward so that it may benefit all beings. Soften. We begin always with that flash of bodhicitta, the most open, expanded, widened, ever widening heart. There is nothing to pay attention to here. Simply soak in the reality of the present moment. And knowing that you are an essential part of this present moment, breathe. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And for a few moments, we're just going to watch the way the mind moves about. It is in its natural, a kind of our habited state, I should say, of grasping. And so we hear the sound of the bird, we like it, and we cling or grasp, and then we lose the next moment. And so this is the beginning of our softening. We soften beyond the body, beyond hearing, into the still, silent, open space all around us. Keep your lens wide. And then I'm going to offer different instructions. So you may need to practice this with a minute. With each out breath, we just continue to widen, open, and soften. We do that with the attention as well as the body. It moves in all directions, it radiates outward and includes everything. It's like the ocean wave moving back out. And a piece of you, a piece of that which the wave has lapped at the shore and gathered, goes with it. We don't just breathe out knowing we're breathing out. That's the base instruction. We actually widen and expand our attention into awareness. You are not fearful of this expiration. You can feel its widening, its expanse. See if you can't completely join the letting go, dissolving the sense of the body as a separate entity. Let everything expand. And that actually means you have to dissolve it. You can't stay fixated, you can't stay solid. It can't work. You have to dissolve the separate sense of the body, like salt in warm broth. Dissolving into that receding wave. Every out breath, we practice this softening, this letting go, letting be. Here's the joke or the punchline: there was never anything to hold on to anyway. Oh, it was illusory, a dream, an illusion. There is no solid thing, no solid self. Let the dream go. No eyes, no ears, no nose, no mouth, no body, nobody. Fixed, solid, permanent, but a part of this ever flowing. And as thoughts come, we simply let them be thoughts. No struggle, no resistance, and no problem. Just a part of the illusion. We let it wave just like the breath. There is nothing to hang on to. There is nothing of substance. We simply rest in the open space. And as Gibran says, we let everything come, the rosy cheeked babies, the aged ones who offer blessings, and those virgins who see God in our eyes. There's nothing to hold on to. And as you begin to let go, as you are no longer in grasping or clinging or making a self, you'll notice that this brilliant, luminous radiance appears. We notice this for those who join death and its beauty. We just become bigger. We let go of all of the small things, the things that were illusory. We let go of the dream to join the larger truth. There is no struggle with the breath. We simply let it come and go as it does. There is no sound that has to be heard. Sounds arise and pass away. We train like this in the out breath so that when we invite the in breath, uh, probably more honestly, when it invites us, we don't grasp or cling. We don't grip or try to hold anything. We know the suffering of this. We simply let sound be sound. And let it go with each out breath. And if you notice this sense of continuous sound, this is one of the practices. There is a little gripping, holding there. And so, what we can do to practice is actually open on the in breath to the object. Let's call it sound for just the practice. And then on the out breath, we're going to once again find the guardrail of the out breath. We're going to place our attention as best we can there, dissolving back into that open space. Remember, the goal here is not to not hear. That would be a misunderstanding. The goal is to not cling, grip, or hang on sound as continuous, fixed, permanent, or stable. The more we can rest in the out breath, the more you will notice you're not clinging to anything on the in breath. Doesn't mean you don't hear. Remember, we're not trying to get rid of. We're trying to be soft, receptive, inclusive, completely letting it be, and also completely letting it go. Rest the mind in the vast, open space of awareness itself. For some, it may be helpful, particularly if you notice you're particularly fixated on something like thoughts or sounds, to actually offer a note at the end of the out breath. It could be something like soften, release, open. Opening fully now to the in breath and the out breath, seeing if we can ride the wave of the breath without any cling or grip, continuing to soften, open, and expand, then settling the breath into the death of the breath and its new arising. One of my favorite quotes by the Buddha, beautiful at the beginning, beautiful in the middle. Beautiful at the end. You cannot behold the beauty of the beginning, the middle, and the end if you are clinging. So what did you notice about the beauty at the end?
Sense of ease
A sense of ease,
that wasn't present at the beginning.
right? That is not present often in our everyday mind. What else? A softening. Yes. Softening instead of the turning towards the pain, fear, right? This idea that actually there is no turning actually because it's already here. Right? Let's start there. So the concept of even turning is a little funny because it's here. It's already in us. It's already present. There's nowhere to go. And so then what? We'll soften with it, in it, being with it.
Describe your son's experience. I thought immediately to not a song,
Yes.
just okay, I've got to deal with this. Almost like forcing.
I gotta buck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Big difference.
Yes, thank you.
How that experience is.
Yes, there's a big difference. And actually, whenever we think we're bucking up, we can't hold on. That's not sustainable, actually. However long, we could do it now, could we? We'd say, everybody tense as tight as you can and hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. How long are you doing that? Well, not for 40 minutes. You're not. You're not capable because I'm not capable. And it is not the way.
And I
How
think-
beautiful that the body helps us there.
Yeah, and just the habit, right, of whatever the thought pattern is, I'm strong enough, I can do this, I should be able to, that kind of like, oh, that bucking up, right? I was experiencing some physical pain and, you know, that's kind of my thought process. I can do this. I don't need to shift my body. I can, and then I was like, wait, what about the softening? Like, wait. And so I went back to it, and yeah, the pain was still there, but working with the breath to turn towards that.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, it's not so consistent with the brain stem.
No, it took effort.
Yeah, it's not exactly right. So when the tiger's running towards you, rarely does the brain stem go soften, open, relax, abide, breathe. It's actually wise. It's actually wise. But it is not easy to do without a certain kind of training, isn't it? For rather than the auto of ratchet up and then run, fight, kill, harm, our habits are there. The reality is it is often much more useful to breathe.
It's interesting to me how you can hold tension though somewhere. Like it was just, everybody knows tension in their shoulders and their neck and not being able to let that go.
Right?
How to sit with that and let it go.
Yeah.
We do that in this group all the time.
Yeah.
Just try to sit with it.
Yeah. I don't think
where
we're
it's
letting it go. I think it eventually lets go of
Easing it.
us
Yeah.
in some interesting
Yeah.
way.
for
I
sure.
think we have to be kind of like it's really hard to hit a hammer into foam, right? Like there's nothing really to grab it, right? There's nothing really to connect, isn't it? Like really, I think it's more like that. Do you know what I mean by that?
Mhm.
Like we have to we have to solidify something in order to get nailed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that resistance. needs to
Yeah.
be present.
You got to tighten something. You got to grab something, right?
Noticed that at the end of the session when you rang the bell, and I was like, oh, I'm into it. And then there's an immediate contraction around, oh well, that was nice, and now like I don't like, and what was neat this time was then there was the reminder, because we've been doing this for 40 minutes, like, oh, that was good too.
Yes,
And just a slight.
that's right. Beautiful. That's the practice, right? Some things we like, some things we don't like, some things we neither like nor dislike, says the Buddha. All of them equal. They are equal. Beautiful at the beginning, beautiful in the middle, beautiful at the end. Equal. So then, if we talk about death directly, then what? We open to everything there. I can't sing to him because I'm a bad singer. Believe,
But you can now.
right? Believe crazy thought. The guy's dying. I can't sing because I'm not a very good singer. Really? This is crazy. Isn't it? Some clinging to some idea about the self. I couldn't be with him then. Can you? You can't really join this idea of unification, really, which is understood to be enlightenment, really, right? Just opening, being with, recognizing the essential reality of everything, me and it ever interacting, engaging. No, I'm just going to sit there because I'm not a very good singer. Separating. Suffering. Isn't it? Now suffering.
We could do that every day with everything, right?
Don't we?
Yeah.
And it's not the doing it that's the problem. We do whatever we do. The doing's not the problem. It's the not knowing.
Mhm. It's not me.
There's the problem. And when you don't know, you can't. Took me 10 days to see what I was doing. That I was doing it or not doing it. Sing or not sing. You know, this is not right.
That layer of foam gets thinner sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard piece of wood.
That's right.
It's
That's
very
right.
foamy right now.
Yes. We want to see how we can remember this and then invite it. See, this is where that's taking the practice on the road then. How do we invite it? Just one moment breath at a time now. You don't have to like go open to everything. It's not real. It's not real. Don't try it. The truth is, you noticed this in your practice, didn't you? Opening, then a little, okay, I'm a little hooked on the bird thing now. I heard you. I heard that mind. Little, okay, there's the bird. Oh, there's the bird. Oh, now I'm just on the bird. I'm not right. Oh, settle back, open back up. You don't have to get rid of the bird. That's not the practice.
Though, the whole wiping the lens.
Yes.
I mean, I really like the breath, the cadence of the breath coming in and out
Yes.
in relationship to.
Yes. It's just like that. Actually, it's reality. So that's pretty handy. I'm going to look at chat here only because I see a lot of us writing. Marie says, I highly recommend the book Death, an Inside Story by Sadhguru. Life-changing. Yes, I know the book. It's spectacular. The most venerable moments in being. How beautiful. I am heading over. Thank you, Robin.
I'm here.
And Robin has arrived. It's true. That occurred. Stephen Jenkinson, yes, Die Well. He has a CD called Nights of Grief and Mystery, was introduced. Yes, I actually practiced, trained with him, Stephen Jenkinson. Beautiful man. I have 5 playing kids outside screaming, opening and closing doors, running. It was a great practice of just noticing without distraction, seeing it as it is when it occurred. Not building stories around it. Yes. Isn't that tough? Shouldn't be happening, should be happening more of this, less of this, if only this, but not this. Storylines. Right? The storylines. Anything else from our Zoom group? Thea, good to see you. You're so welcome. Anything else from the group there? Who knows about this beauty? So let's talk about it really practically. So some of you have been, each of you, you've lived long enough to have had some contact with death. It may not be the death of your immediate family. It might have been the death of a friend or the death of an animal, right? Where do you now see, as we just open to the whole experience, where can you see the beauty that is what I will say the result for a moment? Let's just look at it that way.
I remember in one of your sessions earlier, somebody had asked about Jim. And the response to that, it stuck with me. Now, my dad's got some episodes. I don't think this is his final one. And my daughters are doing wonderful things around him. Somebody asked you how Jim was. Your answer was, yeah, he's loved. And that just is always kind of, it's stuck with me. I think about that every day as I think about my daughters, caring for my dad.
Yes.
Try to parlay that to them, right? Because they're struggling with what they're seeing, daily. And
Yes.
my older daughter's kind of put her life on hold to, help them through. My stepmom dying a year ago, and what she's going on with her now, physically, and my other daughter with her busy life. There's just so much love there. It's not so much that I can't already accept and deal with my dad's open again, whenever that's going to be. It's what do you do with the living, right? It's not so much how I deal with death, but I feel if I have a role in this, it's like, what do I do with those who are still living?
Yes.
To kind of help them through that. So
Yes.
when I think about death, my family, that's kind of where I go. Right? What then?
Right.
What then?
I don't know either. I can't say yet. I'll let you know. I only know the death of the present moment. I know that one. I know that, right, the changes, the aging, all of the other realities, the small deaths we call them. I don't know if that's quite true. I think that could be a misnomer. Heartache and, right, change in these ways that are often not pleasant. The powerlessness, I think, that can come, that I noticed in myself, like there's nothing to do here now except be with this, breathe with this. And the beauty of that, really the beauty of the letting go and the beauty of it, not fixing anything, I don't even want to call it love for the moment, because I don't want us to paste something over it. It simply was, then I'll just be here, which is how that song eventually came out of my mouth. It wasn't a thought anymore. It wasn't trying to be loving. It was just what was there. Right? And then you just let it be. Trusting, I think, that often it's there that love lives. Right? When we just finally arrive and open completely. You don't have to try anything. You're just there, being
And
with.
your son really did that. I mean, I really come back to him.
He did.
My mother's 88th birthday this week. She has decided to fly everybody in for this party at Tony Hall's. And she's so excited about drinking margaritas, which we're trying to figure out how to make version. So she'll pretty much, we'll have to drag her out of Tony's. But I just think about your son And I don't know what I call it. I do that all the time with them. And I just feel that I'm going to come back to that moment a lot.
Yes.
You know, because just the feeling of my entire kind of crazy, drunk, loving, nightmarish family, but wonderful too, is all flying in. And I just think I just kind of want to go out the patio door.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's right.
but being the rising matriarch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I gotta breathe.
Yeah,
Get through this.
that's right.
Shot at Casa Amigos, please.
That's right.
So,
Leanne's making me laugh and you can't hear her.
so
I
just-
apologize.
I just really appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that moment.
Yeah, can't we just, I think it's really okay, isn't it? To this idea of turning towards everything, I think it's okay to run the other way for a second, or at least create a little space for oneself, and then just get some breaths and not have to think anything or figure out anything. See, we don't even really use our space and breath for its intention, which is just dissolving that gripped, gotta fix it, do, be. We don't. We step out to resource, to jump back in. I think the better practice is just open and let whatever is there be there. And then you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to figure it out. And actually, we're so present that there's no way for it to go. But whatever then is called right result.
And then finding joy in that.
Yes,
Finding the joy.
whatever that is.
And I think the love that I've resonated with that too, that he was love plus the forearms. I really want to see those forearms.
You're amazing.
But I don't know. I just really appreciate that. I think it's love, breathing.
Opening, softening.
It's helpful.
This is where all the beauty comes from, isn't it? That's where the beauty comes from. That opening, softening, dissolving sense. And by the way, what people often say about those who are dying, it is not always true. It is not always true, but it can be true, is that as they really dissolve this solid self, there is the light radiating in both directions. And you become amazingly, I've seen it many, many times, translucent, literally. You just look and are luminous. That's an amazing thing to behold as one is letting go of trying to hold on to anything. Now the light just shines in all directions. There is no just me get the light. I am the light. And as we let go into song or silence, right, you get to see that. That was evidenced for me. I want to talk about this for a moment in a couple ways. One was my son and the beauty of that moment. The no demand, no have to, and the opening to what could be offered because it was available, right? A couple other moments that were striking that have struck me as so beautiful, really. And that is the transformation, not only of the person dying, but of everyone who beholds it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone who beholds it then is also changed by it. You see that in the letting go, there was no struggle. There is no pain. There is no, and that whatever then happens, happens. And I saw it in a couple ways, and I'll share them with you. But again, remember, these are not stories about me or my family. This is our story. This is us. This is what we're all doing, actually. So one of the stories is that my mother, who is terrified of death, and I can say this on screen with a chance that my mother will see this, terrified, and was really at the time of her father's own death, not able, though we were in the room together, she was literally glued to the wall in fear. And that fear is old and continues in her in the way it does. And so here she is now watching Jim, and our family is present, and she's running up the stairs. Jim's here in our foyer, because she can't attend. I have no judgments about this, by the way. No, none. She can't do what she can't, right? She runs up the stairs. And so I see this and just let it be what it is. And Jim finally dies, and everyone is calling, right? Beautifully, lovingly, appropriately. What can we do? Is there a way to help? Can we? And it's so important, by the way. I have not understood this till now. Just that I'm here. And if you need something, you just let me know. It's amazing. And cards, they're all so meaningful in a way that I have not really understood completely. And my mother is writing me. And she's saying, what can I do? Can I give a donation? Can I contribute something to a society or something? I say, Mom, I don't know. Let me ask Al. He's right here. And I say, Al, my mom's writing, asking what she can do. And he says, but she's writing you, not me. Number one. And the second thing he says is, so the thing she can do is make a personal reach out to me. Big teacher, big teaching, big moment. I write my mother, texting. Al says, blah, blah, blah. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. Nothing. On the 6th day, she writes him a text directly to him, and it's heart melting. It's heart melting. I'm not going to repeat it because it's hers, but it's heart melting. Look at the beauty of that. A woman terrified herself because what? She's looking at her biography. I don't want to look at this. Look at the opening of that. Look at what had to soften in her to get to that. How many ever days, right? Not the point. And the second beautiful thing I notice, my brother, also averse to death and dying, could not be there for my dad. It's okay, right? We can't do again what we can't do when we can't do it. And he says, I can't. He's the only other man I have loved like this, and I'm going to lose him too. I can't do it. So he doesn't see him. My dad dies, right? It goes the way it goes because that's what's possible right then. And he comes here, and I'm certain it is in the Dharma, no accident. He comes, he's scheduled to come the week that Jim is dying. He doesn't know. We haven't really gone into this whole, but there he is. He arrives to go to the zoo and
Remember that, I'm like, what the hell?
right, go to do SeaWorld and kayak or something. I don't know. Or not. And what does he walk into? Right into the foyer. What? What are we doing? What are we doing? And we set up all kinds of perfect scenarios. He's going to stay at the place across the street. He can come up the back. He doesn't ever have to walk in that front door where Jim is lying. We've provided for him. And the last day that he's here, Jim is very close to dying and is no longer communicating much. And we hear something, a noise, a sound. We're all upstairs, and Al goes running downstairs. I go with him. And right behind is who? My brother. My brother. And my brother walks right up behind Al, right behind him, and just stands there. And Jim's right there. And my brother, I can feel the energy of my brother holding Al. He couldn't hold Jim, but he could hold Al. And it was so beautiful, isn't it? And he stood there, and he stood there, and he breathed, and he stood there, and he didn't talk. And he didn't have to. That's the beauty of it all. We can be there for each other in the truth of this that we cannot escape together. Right? He raised something up by softening. Right? He had given up the idea that I've got to do something, I got to be something, I got to show up in a certain way. It wasn't there at all. And you could feel that it wasn't. And this is what we are all capable of, isn't it? Aren't we all? Once we let go of, I got to be this, I got to do that, I got to show up in this way, I got to be the one to pick them up, I got to be the one to lay them down, I got to, no, but you've got to be. And then whatever that is, I trust it. It's beautiful and enough. Right. And so how amazing. I'm going to read this and then we'll sit for a moment. Well, thank you all. This is the book. I'm not sure why, but the softening and release and open practice allowed some subconscious conditions that I felt I needed to fulfill before I die. Be more successful, travel to Italy with my husband, get in better shape, blah, blah. Yeah. At first it was sad, like a letting go, a grief, then ludicrous and hilarious, and then a letting go of all that and a huge weight lifted, left with a feeling of just what's really important. How can I be moment to moment now? That makes a difference. Makes sense? Yes. Shivam, it makes perfect sense. Lisa, one recollection, the beauty and the breaking open of my heart in the final moments, both sadness and joy and absolute love. And it is all there. Nothing has to be eliminated, including the grief, right? It's a part of it. Thank you, Diana, for making this extra effort so that we can sit with you in the garden, off to this screaming, dancing, running kids. My mom's month in hospice was the most alive, fulfilling time with her. This is Shivam. Blessed she was lucid until the end. Yes, it's an amazing blessing. So beautiful and heartfelt conversations and just being with her. So grateful that I had that. Yes, it was so beautiful. Robin, what incredibly important and beautiful stories you're sharing. What we can do, we do with love. Thank you. Yes, what we can do. Joko, my teacher, had a phrase. I'm going to change it though. Her phrase, we do what needs to be done. That was her definition of enlightenment. We do what needs to be done. And that's not quite accurate either, is it? Because who determines that? Where does the idea need come from? We show up with what we have and we offer it as freely as we can. Whatever that is, if that's not saying a word, but just standing behind someone, right? It is enough already, isn't it? It's already enough. There was nothing else to do. He didn't have to grab, he didn't have to say a word. He didn't have to hold. The love was already so evident that nothing else is actually required. So what about that? What if we risked that? Whether it was on pitch or not, whether it was words or not words, whether it was being close or loving someone from a distance, it will all matter. And at the time of death, when it is the easiest to contract, right? To grip, to turn away, to not say what's in our hearts to be said in whatever way we communicate it. So there it is, the beauty of it all. Beautiful at the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful at the end, really. And so let's see if we can't sit for a moment together. And finding a big in-breath first, just grabbing all that energy and then releasing it out. sending it out with the merits of our practice, our discussion, our ever softening, ever opening hearts. May we offer the benefits, the blessings, the merits of this practice today and all practice that has come throughout all time. May we gather it here. And with each out breath, then send it out with love, with compassion, with equanimity, and with wisdom. May we call to mind those special ones, and may we send these very blessings to them. And may we all have the courage, the fearlessness, the humanness, really, to soften, to release, to open, to be. May we remember who we really are and risk it. May we all be happy. May we all be free from distress. May we all rejoice at our blessings and offer and wish these blessings for others. May we rest in the vast open space of this very awakened heart mind. Until all are free. May this practice contribute that it be so this very day. So be it. Thank you all so much. You're so welcome. I love practicing. I love practicing with you, and I love practicing with you right here outside. Triple gem. The triple gem. Let me see if there's anything else. I promised, so I'm going to do it even though I know you're all heading off. I promised to say that we are doing our St. Andrew's food collection for this Tuesday, the 19th. We have to have the food items to carry and the purple bin that's in front of her house at 1092 Aloha Drive in Encinitas. I will be heading to the 99-cent store where I buy cartons of tuna and chicken and tomatoes, canned tomatoes, lentils, beans, spaghettis, pastas. All those things are very easily distributed and also very used. They're also very used. So please help us contribute to that. The address 101092 Aloha, which is Santa Fe, just past San Diego Academy East. The second street there is Aloha. You make a left and carries about 10 houses down on the left. And you'll see that big bin there. If the bin is full, stick it right next to it. It's all good.
Bring another bin.
Bring another bin. Yep. I think this that can work. The other date is that we are collecting. We're trying to raise up to $5,000. We have some anonymous donors matching up to $1,500 of that. So make a donation, please. It'll be doubled by our anonymous donors. And we are trying for $5,000. That has to be in by Halloween because they are saying they need the monies to buy the turkeys and stuff for the holiday baskets, but they have the month of November to do it. They do the basket distribution on the 6th of December. It's early. So that is what got to get the monies in so they can purchase the items. Pardon? We're the holiday baskets are the community resource center that we contribute to every year. They'll be doing their drive-by distribution at Miracosta College again this year. And we are not going to be helping with that distribution because they already have a full committee of people helping with that, but we will be trying to raise monies for the other items that they need for those baskets. So help us with that. If you go to the encinitasmindfulness.org website, there is a button, CRC Donate Now button there. I've put it in the newsletter and I'll do that again. I'll do that again in addition to sharing the poem by Khalil Gibran. All right, everyone, I think my job's done for now. Have I done everything? Is there anybody there who's got other thoughts about stuff I need to do? Okay, I think we're good then. Yes,
Just enjoy this beautiful day. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you guys can see, I was in the dark and now the light is shining right here on me. It's going to be a beautiful, luminous. I think it's supposed to be a gorgeous day today. There's also an Encinitas, what is that called? Art walk. For those of you who live in Encinitas or nearby at the City Hall. They have an art walk and I think it's art purchase and
Right by the library?
right by the library. The art is there. I think it's bidding. You can bid on some of that beautiful art for the Encinitas residents. And I think this downtown is a little open. You can, I think, walk around with a beer
Love that.
instead of having to drink it in Roxy. You can now, for today, walk around with it. So, yeah, it's one of the city's, a day of beer sharing. Beer and art. Yeah, beer, art, and walking. I don't know. That sounds pretty workable. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you. Blessings to you. May we stay a little bit in the softening instead of the pulling it all together and see what's there. I promise you can hold it. You can hold it. We all can.
Thank you,
All right.
Diana. Have a
You're
great
so
day.
welcome.
Love
Thank
you.
you. Love you
Thank
too.
you, Diana.
You're so welcome. Be well, everyone.
Take good care.
Bandit Gizmo and I are going to be hanging out with my daughter in Oakland, so we'll do a little beer walking maybe later today.
That sounds terrific. I love that. Enjoy Oakland. All right, everyone, be well.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna